Back to school shopping is one of the biggest setups in retail, and you've been on the hook the whole time. Retailers have engineered a multi-phase calendar that benefits them no matter when you shop. I'll show you the exact tricks they use and, more importantly, 3 things you can do right now to stop handing over extra money. We're talking about a seasonal market worth roughly $31 billion in 2025 for K through 12 families alone. That's not classroom pencils, that's a massive revenue pool retailers optimize to extract profits. Add in AI tracking your clicks, tariffs quietly raising the baseline, and supply lists that lock you in, and you start to see the scale of the game. But here's the real kicker. It doesn't just matter how much you spend, it matters when. How retailers stretch the season to squeeze you. Why did a quick trip for pencils and notebooks turn into a drawn-out shopping marathon? Retailers rewired the calendar on purpose. What used to be a short, concentrated burst in August is now a staged 3-month cycle that keeps families spending again and again. Industry reports openly describe this as sequenced marketing windows. June is framed as awareness and early value, July and August as comparison and discovery, and September as the crunch. What feels like convenience actually traps you in a profit funnel that runs all summer. June is where it begins. Stores roll out early bird deals before many schools even release their supply lists. Backpacks, sneakers, and filler supplies are promoted with messages about locking in the best prices now. Parents worried that essentials might sell out or cost more later cave early, buying blind without knowing the full list of what their child will need. Deloitte's 2025 survey shows that roughly 60% of spending is already done by the end of July. That means by the time the real list drops, most budgets are already drained, setting families up for repeat trips. June is less about savings and more about planting the fear of missing out. By July, the strategy ramps up. This is the heart of summer promotions, timed deliberately to overlap with events like Amazon Prime Day. Mid-July sales play out like mini holidays, blasting shoppers with bundle deals on electronics and brand name apparel. It's not just notebooks and jeans anymore. Retailers use this window to push laptops, tablets, and the high-ticket items that make the biggest dent in your wallet. Zeta's survey shows how far this plan has shifted behavior. Parents who previously waited for August are now buying large chunks earlier. The sequencing isn't accidental, it's designed. July is where budgets get stretched by those big, shiny purchases families feel pressured to make. And then comes September, the final trap. For anyone who waited, retailers flood the market with urgent messaging like, "Don't send your child unprepared." Shelves are stocked with whatever's left, often at less favorable prices, and the fear of failing your kid drives one last round of spending. This late wave has become huge. According to Zeta, about 35% of parents now plan to shop in September, up from 22% just the year before. That's not shoppers procrastinating, it's retailers deliberately structuring the season so that those who shopped early end up back in the store, and those who held out pay higher under pressure. September isn't the cleanup round, it's the panic buying closer. This whole structure comes with another layer: prices themselves. Families often assume the numbers will just keep climbing, and retailers play on that. Tariffs have raised the risk of higher costs in future cycles, which is why some chains stockpiled inventory to soften the blow, and others, like Target, touted price freezes on basics. But economists warned the true effect could surface later as reserves run dry. That looming threat is part of what makes early messages so effective: the constant implication that buying now will shield you from hikes, even when that's not entirely true. Here's the bottom line: whether you buy in June, July, or September, the game is structured to make sure you spend more than you planned. What feels like choice is really a 3-act play written in advance, and stretching the timeline is only the first lever, because once they've set the stage, retailers use far more precise tools to make sure you take the bait. AI tools aren't helping you, they're helping them. Ever notice how your shopping app seems to predict the perfect moment to nudge you with a limited time deal? That's not timing, it's calculation. Retailers now use AI systems trained on millions of shopper patterns to determine exactly when you're most likely to click buy. On paper, these tools look neutral. They compare prices, suggest coupons, even surface side-by-side product charts. Many parents use them willingly. About 20 to 33% of shoppers in recent surveys report leaning on AI assistance for price comparison or deal discovery. But here's the catch: the same retailers promoting these so-called helpers also deploy AI behind the scenes to guide your behavior in ways that boost their margins. Take the laptop search example. You browse late at night, maybe throw a model into your cart, cart, then walk away. Hours later, you get a ping telling you the price has dipped by 5%. It feels like good luck, but this isn't random. It's a live experiment. The system wants to know how easily you can be nudged. If you return tomorrow, that same price might jump up. Amazon has tested this for years through dynamic pricing, and competitors like Walmart and Target have publicly rolled out their own AI-driven adjustments. To be fair, not every price comes directly from the retailer. Third-party listings play a role as well. Still, dynamic pricing is now common in e-commerce, and during peak back-to-school shopping, the timing of these fluctuations can mean parents on identical budgets pay different amounts for the same product. The data feeding these systems comes mostly from us. That time you clicked a mid-range backpack, scrolled past 10 others, then abandoned your cart. Every move gets logged. A 2025 PwC survey showed that when shoppers use AI tools to compare or track products, those interactions also become fresh behavioral inputs for retailers' own AI. That feedback loop strengthens their predictions. Over time, these systems learn if you're a serious spender, a window shopper who needs multiple reminders, or someone who caves at 11 p.m. under fatigue. Even uploading your child's supply list into a chatbot or asking a generative AI assistant to build a cart gives companies another breadcrumb about what you'll buy and when. The more signals you hand over, the finer the profiling gets. And while retailers call this personalization, researchers and regulators warn it opens the door to something else: discriminatory or differential pricing. Senator Sherrod Brown has already raised concerns about surveillance pricing, where algorithms quietly hike costs for certain shoppers under the guise of tailoring. Imagine standing in line at a store while the person behind you pays less for the exact same backpack. That can happen invisibly online, and most families have no way to tell. It feels like personalization benefits you, but at scale, it nudges groups of shoppers into paying more than others for identical basics. To be clear, not every AI shopping tool is working against you. Extensions like Honey or ShopSavvy can still help shave dollars off if you're careful about timing, and virtual try-on technology is lowering return costs by 20 to 40% for clothing and shoes. But the ecosystem is tilted. Retailers control the data flow, and their AI is optimized less for your savings and more for their revenue growth. If that sounds exhausting, here's one quick countermeasure. Set your own alerts and wait for large, well-documented promo events, mid-July sales like Prime Day or late August clearance waves, rather than reacting to every targeted ping. Pair that with store brands or resale options, and you reclaim a little control over when and how much you spend. Because the deeper truth about these AI-driven tactics isn't that consumers have no tools. It's that the tools are mostly weighted in favor of profit extraction. And when you stack that on top of an already stretched shopping season, the direction of who really benefits becomes very clear. So where does that leave families trying to stretch school budgets without getting squeezed? The reality is straightforward. Tariffs, AI, and sequenced promotions all tilt the season in favor of retailers. But households and schools still have levers to pull. First, buy store brands or bulk where you can. Industry trackers show they often run about a quarter cheaper than name brands. Second, start or join a PTA bulk buy or cooperative group to unlock discounts through pooled orders. Third, layer in price matching, holiday weekend sales, and resale platforms to capture real savings. For bigger impact, ask your school or district whether it uses cooperative purchasing agreements or exclusive supply contracts. Procurement practices at that level shape what families end up paying. And if you found a local supply hack or know a school using co-op buying, drop it in the comments. Other parents will thank you.